All right, today we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea about love, a framework from the teachings of Ryuho Okawa that paints a really stark picture, a choice between happiness and suffering. And look, the goal here isn't to sell you on this, but just to really get our heads around the logic of this unique perspective. So, let's jump in.
So right out of the gate, the source material hits you with this really provocative question. Could the love you feel, that deep desire to be loved, to be recognized, could that actually be the root cause of your suffering? I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? So let's really break down this argument.
Okay, so first things first, the framework kicks off with a diagnosis. The problem is identified as a specific orientation of the heart, something called taking love. And this isn't about, being some evil, malicious person. It's much more subtle than that. It's all about the basic direction our desires are pointing.
So what exactly is this taking love? Well, think of it as any kind of love where the main point, deep down, is about receiving something. It's that little voice that says, I want you to love me, or that hope for a pat on the back, that need for affection. According to this philosophy, the second your mind flips that switch to what you can get from someone, even if it feels totally natural, bam, you're in the world of taking love.
And man, there's this really powerful analogy to describe what happens when a whole society thinks this way. Picture a hospital, right? But every single person in every bed is a patient, and they're all just screaming for medicine. But here's the kicker. There are no doctors, no nurses. Nobody's there to give it. It's a place where everyone is demanding, but nobody is giving. The argument is that this is a perfect picture of a society built on taking love, just this state of constant collective unmet need.
So let's see how this framework totally reframes some of our most common desires. That simple desire to be loved, suddenly it's a transaction. Wanting recognition? Well, that just forces you to laser focus on everything you think you're lacking. And wanting affection? You've basically just handed over the keys to your own happiness to someone else. Your well-being is now completely in their hands.
So, where does this idea even come from? Well, the philosophical backbone for all this is a core concept in Buddhism, attachment. In Japanese, it's shochaku, and it's basically the mind's habit of just desperately clinging to whatever it wants. So what this framework does is take that ancient idea and apply it smack dab in the middle of our modern relationships and our emotional lives.
In fact, there's a super specific term for the kind of suffering this creates. It's called gurokufuku, and it literally means the pain of not getting what one seeks. And get this isn't some new age concept. It's a category of human pain that was identified thousands of years ago. So, taking love basically becomes the engine that just churns out this exact kind of pain day in and day out.
All right, so if the diagnosis is a world full of patients all screaming for help, what's the prescription?
Well, as you can probably guess, it's a complete 180-degree turn in the other direction. Okay, this slide right here, this is the absolute heart of the whole framework. On one side, you've got the patient, all about getting, driven by need, and the end result is suffering. And on the other side, you've got the doctor, focused on giving, motivated by compassion, and that's where you find happiness. The choice is presented as being just that black and white.
So what is this giving love really? Well, the source explains it as a kind of modern, easy-to-grasp translation of the classic Buddhist idea of compassion, or jihi. The whole point of calling it giving love is to make it feel like something you can actually do, a direct principle, not just some lofty, abstract ideal. And the most crucial part of this is captured in this really powerful term, atakiri. It means to give completely. And this isn't just about the physical act of giving something. It's about giving without a single tiny thought of getting something in return. The very second your brain goes, I wonder what I'll get back for this. Well, according to this, it's not pure giving love anymore. It just became a transaction.
Okay, now I know exactly what you're probably thinking right now, because it's the most logical, practical question in the world. Hang on, if I just give and give and give completely, won't I just burn out? Won't people just walk all over me? And you know what? That is a completely fair question.
The answer from the source material is pretty radical. It basically argues that the fact that you're even asking that question, that you're worried about what you might lose, is proof that you're still stuck in that old taking love mindset, that world of profit and loss. The real shift, the big one, is to find the joy not in the outcome of the giving, but in the pure act of giving itself.
And practicing this is said to have these three immediate effects that kind of build on each other. First, happiness isn't the reward you get at the end. Nope, it starts the moment you decide to give. Second, your days just start to feel more enjoyable, more fulfilling. And third, and this is a big one, you begin to feel actual, genuine joy just from seeing other people happy. Their success literally feels like your own.
Now that third step, feeling joy in someone else's happiness, that's the bridge. It takes us from just talking about personal psychology to something way bigger, our ultimate spiritual state.
So, this framework uses these incredibly powerful metaphors, heaven and hell. But, and this is key, they're not talking about literal places you go after you die. They're describing the inner world of your heart, right here, right now.
And this slide just lays out that choice so dramatically. Look, both hearts are seeing the exact same thing, someone else's success. But the hellish heart, over on the left, its immediate reaction is envy, resentment. It's like being in a prison of your own making. Meanwhile, the heavenly heart, on the right, it feels real joy for that person. It shares in their happiness and feels connected.
So the logic connects all the dots. A life focused on taking love is always going to lead you to compare yourself to others and want what they have, which inevitably leads to feeling jealous of their good fortune. That's the hellish state of mind. But a life focused on giving love leads you to share in their joy, to celebrate with them, and that is the heavenly state. So, after walking through this pretty challenging framework, the final question gets turned right back around to you.
Let's just take one last look at these two totally opposite paths. You've got taking love, which comes from attachment, and it's all about trying to get something to fill a hole you feel inside. And then you have giving love, which comes from compassion, and it's about giving completely, finding joy in the action itself.
Now, it's really important to remember this. The point of understanding this framework isn't to just blindly adopt it. Think of it more like a lens. It's a tool you can use to just observe your own mind, to notice your own automatic reactions, without immediately judging yourself for them. Which brings us to a final little thought experiment from the source material. The next time you hear about a friend getting a promotion, or you see someone's happy news pop up on social media, just for a split second, try to notice, what is that very first unfiltered feeling that bubbles up inside you? Is it that little pang of envy? Or is it a spark of genuine happiness for them?
And so the final question is really just this. If you use this framework we've explored as a kind of map of the human heart, where on it do you see yourself standing, right in this moment?